Mel everybody, I'm Cantonese Cat. Hey everybody, Cantonese Cat, our monthly chart of CleanSpark. What has it been doing? Looks like it's been forming a big giant bull flag over here after it's been going up for about a year and a half. Non-stop. Just taking a little bit of a breather like it did over here. Gosh, it's been going nowhere for 4 or 5 months. Should we be scared? Is the trend exhausted? Does it mean that we're going to go down from here? I don't think so. I mean, if you look at the ribbon, it does look like, if anything, it's turning from negative to positive. So you're actually starting to have a little bit more of a longer term bull trend. If you look at the Ichimoku cloud over here, you can see a bullish cross actually happened back in February 2024 between the Tenkan, which is blue line over here, and the red line over here, which is the Kijun. When this bullish cross generally form, you can actually have a more sustainable bull trend that can keep going on for perhaps anywhere from 12 to 18 months. It's possible, depending on obviously the underlying liquidity conditions and depending on underlying assets, of course. But so far, things are actually looking pretty decent. The reason why it hasn't really gone anywhere is because it's stuck on the monthly chart between the bottom of the Ichimoku cloud, which is going to be around like 18 or so, and between the Tenkan and the Kijun underneath of it, which is going to be around like 14 and 13 or so. It's just been stuck in a range over here for about 4 to 5 months. During the entire time, whales are still in. Currently, for the month of June, you can still see that about more than 50% whales are still in. And if anything, retails are getting tired of this. Like, they're actually decreasing all the way from maybe like 15 currently down all the way to maybe like 13 or so. Like, retail is actually decreasing as well. There is a lot of energy that's being built. I'm going to show you that in a little bit. Now, you can just not just see here in the Ichimoku cloud, you can also see the same thing on the Super Ichi cloud. Same thing, right? Super Ichi cloud basically tells you, incorporates more of the super trend to this, and you can see same thing, bullish cross over here around March 2024, stuck in range. Bottom of the cloud, Tenkan and Kijun, yes, support. Building up a ton of energy that's probably going to end up getting released sooner rather than later. Now, if you ask me, has there been any precedents? Now, CleanSpark didn't really start mining Bitcoin really until like December 2020. So anything before that is not really like a good comparison. I mean, I guess a lot of people are worried that this flag over here is kind of like this flag over here is going to keep going down, right? But you also have to remember that this flag over here was happening when the liquidity condition for Bitcoin was starting to get a little bit more exhausted. Is when you start to have the underperformance of MicroStrategy over Bitcoin, right? This over here looks like it might still be in the middle of the cycle. And gee, I wonder if there are examples from something like Bitcoin. By the way, Bitcoin still have a tons of whales being in. So I don't think that there's really like a bear market coming. It just looks like there's consolidation over here, right? Gee, I wonder if there's been an example from Bitcoin on the monthly chart where price just kind of gone sideways for about 3 to 4 months and do absolutely nothing on its way up. Let's see. Over like here, maybe, and it went sideways for about 6 months before it keep going up higher. Over here, maybe where it went sideways for about 3 months before going up higher. Over, I don't know, maybe over here, it went about sideways for about 4 or 5 months before going up higher. Maybe over here, maybe it went sideways for about 4 or 5 months before it go up, any higher. Or maybe even here, it just kind of went sideways over here for about 5 months before going up even higher. Or even over here, it went sideways for about 4 months before it go up higher. Gee, I wonder if there are any examples where these consolidations can happen, and I wonder whether or not this is one of those consolidation before bullish continuation. I don't know. Let's go back and look at the monthly chart of CleanSpark. It looks like it's just being stuck in a range. Now, the range is very apparent when you look at the Subichi cloud and you look at Ichimoku cloud on the monthly, and it's also going to look even more apparent if I pull up the weekly chart. You can see that it has done absolutely nothing for 4 or 5 months, but you still have about greater than 50% whales still staying in on the weekly chart here too. The whales haven't really left. You can imagine when it cooled down from here, going down here before this big like move up, you have whales cooling down too. This is no big deal, but you can see how things have just been ranging. I can show you the Ichimoku cloud, which is way underneath, but I can show you the price has just been stuck between the Tenkan, the blue line here, and the Kijun, the red line over here. It's just been bouncy ball here for a few months, trying to break below. Nope. got supported, trying to break above. Nope, got rejected. It's just been going absolutely sideways, doing absolutely nothing so far this week. Nothing. If you look at the Subiichi cloud, same thing. It's been oscillating between these Tenkan and Kijun lines over here. Let's see what it's doing in terms of Bollinger Band. I think this is going to be a very interesting thing to look at. When things go sideways like this, when things went up or down crazy, usually you see a Bollinger Band expansion, right? But when things go sideways, you see a Bollinger Band contraction. And these Bollinger Band contraction, when it contracts enough, you're basically saying there's going to be a much, much bigger move coming, right? Now, which way is it going to move? It's been forming nothing but higher highs and higher lows for over a year and a half, so probably up higher, right? Well, you can make the argument currently price is underneath the 20-week moving average, which is, really scary. But if you also look at the bull market support band, basically what it's doing right now is just kind of stuck inside the bull market support band, kind of like it did over here, right? It's stuck in a range again, another example that is stuck in a range. And the Bollinger Band is squeezing pretty hard, so you know what that means. When it squeezes hard, the harder it squeezes, the crazier it comes out. And I think it's probably going to come up, if you ask me. That's the scenario that I favor, because Wells still haven't left, because it's been forming nothing but higher lows and higher highs. Because I just keep on making videos telling you, giving you like 10, 15, 20 reasons as to why I think this is still early cycle. I don't think Bitcoin has topped yet. And there are a lot of reasons as to why I think that's the case, right? Now, if you pull up if you also pull up the Fibonacci levels here, it's been really kind of basically oscillating within this arc over here. And it's been basically stuck in a range. If anything, it's just been oscillating around the 0.382 Fibonacci level, going nowhere, right? The next move, well, either it breaks down the arc and go down to like $8, or it breaks up and probably end up hitting around 30. That's probably what the next move is going to be. If you ask me what the next move is going to be, I think it's probably going to be up. Here's another way to look at this. This is a SMA ribbon. The 20-week is on top, the 50 weeks at the bottom during the bull market. Vice versa, right? On the bear market, the 20 is going to be at the bottom and the 50 is going to be on the top, right? When they're about to cross, it turns purple and it looks like it's been a very, very nice, thick ribbon underneath below, telling me that this is still a very, very strong bull trend and it's probably going to end up pushing price up a lot higher over time, right? That's CleanSpark. If you look at another stock here, another one of my favorites, which is Mara. I'm going to start through the whole process over again. Sorry, go back to CleanSpark real quick. Like, a lot of people ask me about price target. I keep showing price targets, but it doesn't matter. You have to break above all these resistance here first, right? High 20s to 30. Next thing up, you've challenged this previous high over here. And then if it breaks above that, you're talking about potentially some of the higher targets up here. Probably going to be either somewhere around the arc over here or the line over here. So it's going to be probably around like low triple digits to maybe 150. Maybe that's where the bull market potentially end. That's my best guess. Look at Mara. Look at a monthly chart. What has it been doing? Well, very similar. It's just been kind of forming over the last year and a half, mostly higher highs and higher lows, right? Consolidating sideways for about 6 months. I just showed you Bitcoin can do that, and so can Mara. You still have significant amount of whales here on the monthly, around 50, 51. If you also pull up the Ichimoku cloud, you can see how it's stuck in a range between the Tenkan and the Kijun for the month of June. It's just stuck. It's doing nothing. It's consolidating. It's waiting for a big move to come, right? The Subiichi cloud, same thing. The Subiichi cloud actually shows you that it's stuck in a range even more clearly, right? Stuck in around like high 20s to maybe like, the low like the mid-teens, somewhere around there. It's just been going sideways, consolidating underneath the Subiichi cloud and underneath the Ichimoku cloud, right? Probably going to end up getting some resistance up here around 30 if it ends up breaking up and bringing it above and go up. You know why I favor, just like CleanSpark, I favor bullish continuation. I mean, first of all, whales. Second of all, bullish cross here between Tenkan and Kijun back in February 2024. Mostly because it's been forming nothing but higher highs and higher lows over the last year and a half, right? So the trend is still bullish. If you also look at the weekly chart here, man, it's really been doing nothing. It looks like this is a little bit of like an Elliott expanded flat kind of look to it. And if you look at the the SMA ribbon 20 and 50, it still looks pretty thick. It still looks like it's finding support. It looks a little bit kind of like the look over here, doesn't it? It looks a little bit like that between the two. I mean, granted, price went underneath a little bit further into the band, but there is a little bit of similarity between these two. Kind of like how you look at a monthly chart. The monthly chart actually shows you even a better picture, right? The SMA ribbon turned from resistance over here and flipped it into support, and we're just basically backtesting this monthly 20 and 50 SMA ribbon over here. It's actually looking pretty bullish. And on the monthly, if you also put the Ichimoku cloud, there's a lot of similarities between this area over here where we're at versus this area over here where we're at, right? We just had the bullish cross, price consolidated sideways even underneath this Tenkan Kijun, kind of consolidated sideways for months even underneath this Tenkan Kijun, right? So it looks like there might be a lot of energy that's being built up that could end up exploding upwards, is kind of my best guess. On the weekly Ichimoku cloud, it looks like we're getting back testing the cloud over here after a big volume breakout. We've just been oscillating, and now we're just back testing Ichimoku cloud. We'll see whether or not we're able to bounce from that and go up a lot higher. We'll see about that, right? The bull market support band has been trying to reclaim it. It's just been kind of oscillating around it for quite some time, a little bit trendless here on a lower time frame, but on a higher time frame it still looked pretty decent. Bollinger Band getting a little bit squeezy, right? Again, it's getting squeezy and it's still kind of getting stuck within the bull market support band over here. So maybe a little bigger direction is going to come soon, kind of like what CleanSpark is really getting primed to do. Other CleanSpark is really getting very, very, very tight, whereas Mara is just getting a little bit tighter. So I think CleanSpark might end up making a bigger move than Mara, is my best guess, right? A couple other things too I want to look at is if you're wondering whether or not CleanSpark and Mara, like I don't even have to show you this. CleanSpark over BTC, this is basically to show you how CleanSpark has been doing in relations to Bitcoin, right? You can see that CleanSpark actually been mostly forming more higher highs and higher lows when it's stacked against Bitcoin, right? If anything, I think so far we might be breaking the trend out here a little bit, you know, where Bitcoin may be potentially underperforming CleanSpark again for the foreseeable future because you have a trend line over here that just ended up getting broken just now, right? And you also have a little bit of a squeeze over here too when it comes to CleanSpark over Bitcoin. So I wonder whether or not CleanSpark is going to end up outperforming Bitcoin again moving forward. As opposed to Mara is a little bit different. When you're stacking between Mara and Bitcoin, it's just been oscillating sideways. So it hasn't really outperformed or underperformed Bitcoin. It's just doing kind of what Bitcoin's doing overall if you take it on the average for about the last 2 years or so, right? It's just a very interesting way to kind of look at these stocks. But anyway, I'm going to go back to Mara. Going back to the weekly chart, kind of going sideways here. And I'm going to pull up the GAN as well as the Fibonacci level. It's getting stuck underneath the 0.236 level over here. It got rejected before from the 0.382, almost to the dot over here. Went back down, back tested the 0.136, and it's just been ranging. Right now it's stuck underneath the 0.236. Once it breaks above, it's probably going to end up challenging this 0.382 again, and once it breaks through that, maybe 50s around the 0.618 level. After that, I'm really looking for it to potentially hit like the arc up here, potentially around 80, 90, 100, somewhere around there. After that, if it breaks above these resistance, is it possible for it to go like 300? I don't know, okay, I'm just speculating. But there's still a lot of resistance that needs to break through. But this is Mara, whenever it decides that the bull market wants to keep going, it can break arc after arc after arc and just keep going up higher, right? It's possible. I don't think it's going to hit like 1,000. I think that's a ridiculous thought, but this is Mara. Once it gets going, it can do some pretty crazy things. So anyway, just wanted to kind of show you Mara here on the weekly chart. I'm going to move on to the next one, which is Bitfarms. What is Bitfarm doing on the monthly chart? It looks a little bit better than Mara. Whales are still in. You look at the Ichimoku Cloud bullish cross back in March 2024. Price got back above the Tenkan Nikkei, right? Just like CleanSpark. It's got back above of that. It looks a little bit ahead of the Mara, but it looks, decently bullish. Again, whales are in. This is a good sign. Looking at the Supaichi, stuck in a range, just like what Mara is doing, right? If you look at these stocks, like, they really look very, very similar. What about another way to look at it, which is to look at the weekly? First of all, the whales are still coming in. They're like 60% whales. I mean, granted, Riot could have been the reason why it went up a lot, but it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't really matter why it goes up as long as there's momentum behind the stock. Got kind of close to the Ichimoku Cloud here on a weekly and just bounced, right? Had a little bit of a toppy candle over here. Got rejected by a baseline, the red line over here a little bit. Could have gone down further to like 2.4 or 2.3. Find support before going up higher. Sure. Could this be the correction that is needed before going up higher? Sure, that's also a possibility. Whales are still in, Looking at the bull support band, it's still right underneath over here. So great possibility it goes back down to like 2.4, 2.3 before going up higher. And that wouldn't be a bad thing. Looking at the Bollinger Band. Bollinger Band is not really squeezing because it made a pretty decent move up here for the last 7 weeks. And this move over here allows price to really get back on top of the bull support band. So it could potentially backtest the support before going up higher. And that wouldn't be a bad thing. Looking at the other indicators that I generally show, including the GAN, again, if you're talking about confluence, you're talking about like 2.4, 2.3, you're talking about the arc over here and the horizontal line over here too. And you're also talking about 2.5, which is 0.236 level over here. That could also potentially serve as a pretty decent support before price goes up, having further bullish continuation. Again, whales are still in, right? How far would it go if it ends up bouncing? Well, the next stop over here, besides these lines over here, which is going to be the Fibonacci levels, maybe like $4, $5, $6, $7 per the GAN. The next level is going to be around like $6 to $7, and then after that it's going to be around like 20s, right, per the GAN, right? If you're looking at the Fibonacci level 0.618, around $6, which is again very confluent with the arc, that's usually probably going to serve as pretty decent resistance here. We're probably going to get rejected around there and may need to kind of battle that area for quite some time, right? If I go back to the monthly chart and I pull out the Ichimoku Cloud, it's going to show you a little bit more kind of confluence over here in terms of what I'm seeing with the Fibonacci levels. Like this is like the bottom with the new cloud that's being formed right now. And we can potentially end up hitting some of these levels up here and get rejected over here initially, right? Anywhere from like $4 to $5 around here. It might end up getting rejected if it keeps on going up higher. But we're going to try to break above the zone over here first, maybe but do a little bit of back test on the arc on the Fibonacci level, do what it needs to do before going up higher, because the whales look like they want to go higher, is what I'm seeing, right? So that is Bitfarms. CIFR, one of my favorite ones. I mean, I cannot be bearish on CIFR. You can be bearish on the short term when you hit resistance, but overall I cannot be bearish on it. On the monthly chart, it just looks beautiful. Like it's hucked the 20-month moving average on its way up, right? And it also is claiming all of these, Tenkan Nikkei line is trying to really stay above the Tenkan over here. Tenkan is pointing upwards over time, right? Whales are slowly coming in over the last year and a half. The retails are slowly declining. This is a very, very nice bull trend, right? And price also been making nothing but higher highs and higher lows. I cannot be bearish on this chart. If you look at, Supaichi Cloud, same thing. It's kind of stuck a little bit underneath, but it's turning the Tenkan from resistance over here to support for about a year and a half now. This is also something that is very, very supportive. The weekly chart is also going to tell you maybe a little bit better detail. I'm going to turn on the EMA ribbon. You can see the EMA ribbon has really turned positive, and it's just been serving as support on its way up. You can tell the Bollinger support band has been reclaimed, and you can also tell that the Bollinger Band, let's see here, you can tell that Bollinger Band has just been squeezing tighter and tighter and tighter. And the bottom line is, and also overall you have the increase in wells over the last year and a half or so, right? Even though there's a lot of fluctuations, but overall the whales are still in. So, but the most important thing, I think I'm gonna have to show like this chart over here, which incorporates the GAN and also incorporates the volume shelf level. I think the top of the volume shelf is around like 5.7, 5.5, somewhere around here. Once we're able to break above this range up here, this orange line over here, I think it can go up a lot higher relatively quickly. You're really talking about the GAN chart, really talking about like arcs up here around like the teens. You have a volume shelf over here around $10, which is probably around the time when it started IPOing. But you really, if you break above that, maybe $10 over here is confluent with like the 0.618, which is the golden ratio, right? Around 9.6, that could be strong resistance. But really after that, you talk about going to the teens. I'm not sure if it's going to end there for this market. If it ends up going pretty parabolic, because there's a lot of energy that's being basing over here, right? If it ends up going pretty parabolic, it could potentially hit some of the arcs up here. And also maybe even a line up here around like 63. All those are possible. If it doesn't, I mean, it could break down underneath the arc and it just keeps going down. I mean, I don't think that's the case because global liquidity and US is printing money. So most likely it's been knocking more frequent on this resistance zone. It looks like it wants to break above. When it breaks above, it's going to go pretty crazy. That's what it looks like to me. I keep talking about this every week. I don't care. I can wait. Like I really don't care. I really can wait. And this looks like a very, very good setup over the next 12 to 18 months. A couple other ones just to get them out of the way. IREN, what is it doing? Well, on the monthly, it looks bullish. Whales are in. It's getting close to 50%. On the monthly, looking at Ichimoku Cloud, you had a bullish cross over here of the Tenkan Kijun. It's bullish, right? And you have the Tsubiichi Cloud. If we claim the Tenkan over here, that's bullish. So there's really not much to really say on the monthly chart. On the weekly chart, it gives you a little bit more of a detail in terms of what's been happening, which is that it formed a tweezer top over here at some kind of resistance. I'm going to show you that here in a little bit. But whales are in. There's a lot of whale that end up buying into IREN, and it looks like it wants to go higher over time. Because of this tweezer top, where is it going to find support? Maybe $10, maybe $8. I don't know. It would be a higher low before bullish continuation. I don't care. You can try to sell over here. You can try to time yourself trying to buy back lower. What if you don't get lower, right? What if it finds support over here on the Tsubiichi Cloud? What if this is the correction that it needed before bouncing up higher? What if the Tenkan over here is support? What if it only goes back down to the top of the Tsubiichi Cloud over here, which is like around 11.2, right? So much whale, such a strong bull trend, right? What if it doesn't go down any further? Would that be something that would be silly to try to sell here? What if it goes down to $10, which is going to be, looking at the regular Ichimoku Cloud, that's going to be a good support right there. What if it goes down to like $6? I doubt it, right? $8 probably going to be a really strong support. I'll show you why I think that is the case. But before I do that, I also want to show you that it's way above the boomerang support band, which is currently around $8. And you also look at the Bollinger Band, it's just gotten way too far, way too fast, which is why I formed a tweezer top right here, and currently already went back inside, right? So the fact that it went back inside actually tells me that there might be room for it to go up even higher, which is crazy to think about, but it's possible. If you look at some of the support levels, why it got rejected, right? Well, it got rejected because it's confluent of the 0.5 Fibonacci level from its all-time high to its all-time low, and it also got rejected here at the arc, right? Up here. Very, very nice arc up here. You know why I also thought that, hey, what if you end up not going down lower? What if this is all a correction, right? It went back and almost tested the 0.382 Fibonacci level almost perfectly. What if this is it? What if it just forms a little bit of a bull flag over here because it has support underneath over here, and it just pushes the arc and keeps going higher? The whale certainly looks like it might be interested in making it happen, but if it doesn't happen, then you're talking about potentially going down to like $8. Then you're talking about $8, right? Or you can be having some intermediary, which is going to be some pretty strong support here on the weekly Ichimoku Tenkan and Kijun around $10. That's another area of confluence that could end up serving as support. But it's very peculiar that it's forming support right here. So I don't know. That's the reason. Like I just follow the trend. Like I don't care if it goes up to like 14. You could sell there. I think that would have been a good trade. Sell there and just kind of slowly buy at different support levels down here. I'm more interested in any potential bull trend over the next 12 to 18 months. If it breaks above this resistance levels over here, which can take weeks and weeks and weeks to do, but if it ends up doing that, next level, probably maybe 0.618, I guess. But the next level, really the horizontal zone right here around 22. Next up's going to be around the 40s, right? And then if it ends up breaking about the 40s, could it end the cycle here around 62? Could it end the cycles up here in triple digits? I don't know. You tell me. Nobody really knows, but we're at resistance right now. So it depends on how bullish you are on Bitcoin. If you're bullish on Bitcoin and you think that Bitcoin has consolidated enough sideways for about 4 months, you think it's going to go a lot higher, it's going to pop, then you're talking about this thing going crazy. Terawulf. Last one here that I'm going to talk about tonight. Monthly chart. Ichimoku. Bullish, right? You actually had a bullish Kijun cross here in the month of June of 2024. Still way below the cloud, but you have a bullish cross. Whales have gone way up over the last year and a half during this bull trend. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, right? What about the Subichi cloud? Reclaim the Tenkan from resistance to support. Bullish development, if you will, right? What about the monthly Bollinger Band? Monthly Bollinger Band is all the way down extended. By the way, there are there are a few of these stocks. For example, CleanSpark. CleanSpark's got this Bollinger Band expansion on the monthly, right? Mara doesn't have that. Bitfarms doesn't have that. CIFR doesn't have that. IREN has that, and WULF has that, right? So you're talking about WULF is really getting pretty impulsive here. The problem with WULF, I guess, is that it's still a little bit outside the upper Bollinger Band here on the monthly. So it's still a little bit overextended, but whales are in, and there's a beginning of a bull trend, and the bull trend looks very, very powerful. And whenever you have something like that, I mean, like price can close above the upper Bollinger Band for months on end, right? So it doesn't have to necessarily just end up crashing down on the next month. We just started having a Bollinger Band expansion over here. On the weekly chart, predominantly whales. Way outside upper Bollinger Band, having a hard time breaking above, forming a little bit of the trees or top. Could you end up having a little bit of a cool down, going back down, try to find some of the support underneath? Possible. Where are some of the support underneath? Well, let's look at it. Ichimoku cloud. Where's the Tenkan? 3.6. Where's the Kijun? 3.2, right? If you look at the Subichi cloud, where is the Tenkan? You're actually right at support over there at the top of the Ichimoku cloud, right? Where is the Tenkan? 3.6. Where is the Kijun? 3.2. Very similar supports, right? Underneath, if it needs it. Or it can end up just forming a little bit of tweezer and then back test to the top of the Subichi cloud and it just keeps going higher. Who knows, right? What about the bull run support bands way underneath? Right? That could also be support. I'm not sure if it's going to have to go underneath like $3. I think $3 is probably going to be as far as the correction would go, because by the time when priced, if it ends up going back down and testing and stuff over here, the bull run support band would have already been up to like around $3, and that would have been like, I think that would have been probably like the absolute support that it needs. I'm not even sure whether or not it's going to go back down that low, right? Let's look at it again in terms of what I think is happening. Well, pretty clear when you pull up the GAN, right? What has really been happening is after it broke through this arc with energy and also broke through this horizontal zone over here with energy, it got rejected here at the next level, which is going to be around the 0.5 Fibonacci level, as well as the bottom of this next arc up here. It just simply got rejected because it went way too far, way too fast, right? And it might end up consolidating down here a little bit. Again, I show you a lot of support. You know, Subichi Cloud, we might already be at pretty important support, but you also have some pretty decent support underneath, like 3.6, 3.2, right? Which is going to be confluent with this horizontal line over here as well. And then, you know, I think $3 to like anywhere from 2.9, it's probably going to be as low as it goes. I don't think it's necessarily going to have to go any lower than that. What are some of the upside targets? Because the reason why I say I don't think it's going down to arc. I don't think it's going down to the line down here. It's because it's a bull trend, guys. Higher high, higher lows, right? This is a bull trend. So I'm more looking for a little bit of correction and see how far it could correct to form a higher low before its bullish continuation, right? And once you have a bullish continuation, you're talking about challenging the arc up here around $5. You're talking about the horizontal zone right here around $7 or $8. You're talking about after that it's going to be in the teens, right? And then after that, I don't know how far this bull market is going to go. If it ends up going crazy, it could hit the arc over here or even the top of the lineup here around like the 40s. I don't know what it's going to do. Why don't we just take one level at a time, right? and you already booked through some pretty strong resistance over here. See whether or not it needs a little bit of a back test, find some solid grounding before going up higher. We'll see what happens. Anyway, these are the 6 Bitcoin miners that I do own. I just want to share you an update. It's Thursday. I generally do an update on Thursday, so there you are. I'm going to try to update the other ones like HUD, Riot, BTBT, BitDeer, Hive, and all that. I'm going to try to update that on a different video on a different day. But anyway, thanks so much for listening. Have a good one. Bye.